Hello YouTube, my name's Dave. Welcome to my workshop in a single car garage here in South Australia. Come on in and let's see what we can make. Hello and welcome back to yet another chat video. Now before you reach for the stop button, don't panic. This is not going to be a great big long monologue like the last one. This is going to be quite a short chat, I promise you. Scouts honour, dip 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 dip. Right, now this is going to be the story with a slideshow, quite a long slideshow this time, about why I purchased my DoALL 1216 contouring bandsaw. Up until, as I say, you realise I live in South Australia, up until 2019 I was only a temporary resident, and for that the South Australian government had $250,000 of my money held as a bond, and I had to buy a visa every 4 years. And I seem to remember the last time it was something like about, I don't know, $60,000 or something. And of course each time that I need to be near it, of course, you know, there's pages and pages of application forms and police reports and medical thingies, and you know, there was always a chance that I could be refused at any time. So I was very reluctant to, you know, although I wanted more machining, you know, I was very reluctant to go too far, because as I say, only being a single car garage, of course it was filled up. So of course any more machinery would mean outhouses, sheds, whatever you like to call them, in the back garden. So I thought, well, I don't risk that. But as I say, in 2019 the South Australian government decided, for a one-off fee of $47,000, I could become a permanent resident and get my $250,000 back. So I thought, wow, you know, this now is a whole game changer. So of course what I then decided to do was to purchase a couple of steel sheds. They have to be steel sheds because here in South Australia we've got the termites, for white ants, you know, so you know it's got to be metal. And then I then proceeded to do a search for some extra machinery that I wanted. So the first thing that I did was put up a small shed with some heavy gauge steel racking in it, so that I could, you know, put my metal stock out there and all sorts of non-important stuff that was already in the garage, you know, put it outside there and give me more room. And I also purchased one of these, you know, the standard, what do they call it, 6-inch bandsaw, you know, this Chinese thing, you know, you can cut off stock, or you can turn it into a upright and use it as a vertical bandsaw. Not that I ever did use it on a vertical bandsaw, but so I mean that was my first operation. And I then proceeded to do a search on UK machinery sites, and so I'd set my mind on a DoALL 1216. Yeah, because I didn't want to go anything too big. I'd already had a bandsaw in the garage, but of course it was one of these El Cheapo Chinese eBay type things, you know, comes as a flat pack, assemble it yourself, sheet metal cabinet and all that sort of thing. Mainly designed for DIY woodworkers, of course. I could manage to cut aluminium on it and some brass, but it was way too fast for cut steel. So anyway, as I said, I managed to find this DoALL for sale, way the other side of Sydney somewhere. So I negotiated the price and got it delivered. So the bandsaw duly arrived, bolted to a pallet, well wrapped up, plenty of cardboard and all this cling film stuff that was all wrapped around it. So I then set about unpacking it and having an initial look, and I was surprised. I mean, although this is a 1942, it was complete, and the seller said it was in full working order, and it still had its working blade welder on it. which is quite a surprise. I mean, it's quite often I still occasionally look on eBay, you know, just to see what's going. And there's quite often a lot of these saws, but of course the blade welder is you know, either not working or not there at all. So, but as I say, so I said about, oh, of course the other just slight change of or addition to the story is back in 2018 I gave myself a hernia. Now watch yourself, lads. When you've had a hernia, it's life changing. I had the operation, but I still can't, you know, I have to be ever so careful now on moving stuff. So of course with this bandsaw, of course I couldn't do a lot of stuff, you know, because of the weight of it. So of course I had to rely on the neighbours coming over and saying, oh, you know, can you lift the table off for me? Can you take the motor out? Blah blah blah. You know what it's like. But of course, as I say, we got there in the end. As I say, I totally gutted the machine out. Just left the main gearbox in. Totally stripped out all the wiring. I mean the motor control and all that. So I mean that was dated 1938. So anyway, that's all been ripped out and replaced with modern stuff to bring it up to code. Next, I had to set about cleaning out the base of the machine. As I say, being 87 years old, it was there was certainly plenty of swarf and stuff in the bottom. So of course that had to be scraped out and shoved out, and then washed it down with paraffin or kerosene, as it's known in some countries. And then afterwards, I further washed that down with some methylated spirits, denatured alcohol, as it's also known in other countries. Then the next main problem was dealing with the paintwork. So what I decided to do, I totally stripped the whole of the cabinet right back down to bare metal, you know, sanding it and scraping it and things. Sorry about that. That was the postman, and it's delivery for a neighbour as well. Yeah. So as I said, as I was saying earlier, totally stripped it right back to bare metal. I thought, you know, if the job's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Now, luckily, one of the neighbours is a sort of amateur sprayer, so I got him to bring his compressor and his spray gun over, and he made a lovely job putting primer on it and a sort of blue hammerite type thing. Only going to do the main things. You know, all the other dumps and handles and things. I did that myself. So what I've done was I wire brushed them all off. Went down to our local hardware store, Bunnings. Had a look at their paint selection and picked a load of you know, these old rattle spray cans, $4 a go, metal primer and matte black, and painted all over myself. So I'm quite keen on that paint. I mean, as you may well have might have recognised in the grinder video, you know, all my little brackets and things on there are now sprayed matte black. So so there we are. Now on my lawns here are artificial grass, so of course that's laid on compacted hardcore sand on top, and then the grass just lays on there. So of course when I went to put the sheds up out the back garden, all I had to do was get a standing knife, cut the grass where the shed was going to be, you say lovely compacted sand underneath, and just laid heavy duty pavers straight on top. So of course when the time came for the saw was ready, because as you see in the pictures, all this was done out in the front garden, you know, and at night time it was covered up with a tarpaulin, etc. When the time came, I got 3 neighbours that we got it off the pallet down onto rollers, and so in 3 neighbours actually just rolled it through the back gate, put it into position on the paver floor, got it all levelled up, and I assembled the shed around it. Just as simple as that. Of course, this grinder, this bandsaw is 3-phase, so of course that then meant having to run 3-phase out of the house to the shed, but you know, we soon accomplished that. Now the biggest trouble with the shed was that I could only purchase it with just a single door, which was, you know, only on one corner. So I mean, that's not good for a bandsaw really. I mean, really what I wanted was a, you know, like garage doors, barn doors, you know, 2 doors open out, so I had the full width of the shed to use. But of course it unfortunately wasn't like that. But I thought, well, no problem, Davey can turn his hand to anything. So anyway, it was quite simple really, because with these sheds it's just 4 prefabricated walls with a flat roof that you bung on. So it was just a case of unbolting the end and doing a modification. So what I actually did was took the infill sheet off, shifted the right hand door over to the left, and here Bunnings sell a tubular steel garden gate adjustable frame. You know, you can, so I found one that was, you know, had suitable adjustments. So of course you just, you know, slide it to whatever width you want, whatever height you want, and skin it. So that's what I've done. So as you'll see in the pictures later, you know, as it arrived with a single door on the right, and say there's a few shots of me modifying it, and away we go. So in general, turned out very well. Very pleased with it. I do use it a lot. I mean, I definitely use it every week, and sometimes every day. I mean, particularly over the last couple of weeks or so, when I was doing the modifications to the Grenby, you know, I needed to cut up thick aluminium blocks and things, and it's a real doddle. The only drawback that I did find was that being 79 years old, that there was actually some serious wear right alongside the blade, only about 1.5 to 2 inches either side, but it was like a hollow. I mean, I measured it and it was something like about, I don't know, 16 thou. But it did cause problems. I mean, cutting thin sheet made a hell of a noise. You know, because it vibrated. It, you know, each time the blade tooth come round, of course it wanted the material not being flat. Of course it wanted to keep pulling it down to the table. So that was quite horrendous. And also too, I had problems cutting thicker stuff, because fine while he was cutting it, but just as the blade was trying to break through, of course the part would then dip down into the hollow, of course, and pinch the blade. So of course problems there. But of course, I should have done it at the start, but you know, I was keen to get the thing back together and using it. But so after discovering that problem, so what I did a few weeks back was again get the neighbours to lift it off the table off, put it up on my milling machine, and I re-machined it flat again. I mean, several of you may have already seen it. I mean, that was my sort of first little foray into YouTube. I just thought, you know, I wanted to email some friends, you know what I've been doing, and with the table. But of course, you know, even a minute's worth of video, you know, he turns into multi-megs, and of course it's far too big to email. So I thought, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll bung it up on YouTube, send them the link, and take it from there. So that is why you've that's what, you know, that's why that got me into working on this YouTube lark. So well, so there we are, end of story. See, I promised you it'd be short, so but the slideshow is going to be quite a bit longer this time. Anyway, so thanks once again for watching. Do the usual thing, you know, leave me a comment, click the likes, or I tell you what, actually click on the little bell. That will then give you a notification of when I'm going to do another video. And actually the next one is actually going to be a show and tell. It's going to be a guided tour of my workshop, showing you the equipment I've got. A lot of it is English 1950-ish era, so I'm going to show all that, the modifications I've done to it, you know, show and tell, how much I paid for it, how I got it, blah blah blah, etc. So as I say, if you click the notifications bell, you'll find out when this video is up and working. So that's it for now. As I say, thanks once again for watching. Wherever you are in the world, stay safe, well, happy. See you again on the next one. Bye. Got my hand in the right place this time, and don't forget to stay for the slideshow. Bye.